So in this video, I'm gonna share a basic 7-part framework to scale any business where you are the owner operator of the business. The problem that I've found over and over again in working with clients who want to scale their business is that they try to scale from the outside in. And what that means is they look outside of themselves for market opportunities and then try to contort themselves and their businesses to fit those opportunities. So what I've discovered is that what ends up happening when they do that is they end up creating something that isn't very aligned with them and with their true nature, with what they love to do, what they're best at, and they end up having a business that doesn't fit them very well. It's almost like wearing ill-fitting clothes where, if your waist is too tight, if your tag is scratching you, if your shoes are too tight, then you can end up not feeling very comfortable. And at the end of the day, all you want to do is take off all your clothes. Well, it works the same way in business. If your business doesn't fit you too well, then what ends up happening is you can survive it, you can muscle through it, but it's not all that enjoyable. It doesn't feel all that good. And so the entire goal of the way that I approach scaling a business is from this concept, from this place of alignment. Alignment with who you really are, what you really want, how you really love to deliver value, and growing from there. What ends up happening when we do that work and when we align first in order to build and scale is you end up with a business that fits you like a glove. It feels comfortable, it's joyful, it's energy rich, and you never end up resenting your business or wanting to get out of it. So before I get into the actual model, one thing I want to bring up is the idea of order of operations. I don't know about you, but I loved mathematics. And actually, I became a math teacher after I graduated from college. And what I learned is that as I was teaching these kids math, a lot of them had a lot of problems with math because they didn't understand order of operations. Here's a simple example. We do 2 times 3 plus 5. It's very different than 2 times 3 plus 5. The order of operation changes the answer. 2 times 3 plus 5 is 11. And 3 plus 5 is 8 times 2 is 16. So these are 2 completely different answers. And the fact is, if you do the order of operations wrong, you're gonna get the wrong answer. It's kind of the same when you're scaling your business. The order of operations matters. And that's why I've set up this pyramid to show you the 7-step sequence that I've discovered the hard way, because I didn't do it the right way initially, that I've discovered that sequence really helps us to build something strong, stable, sustainable, and scalable. So the reason that I've set this up as a pyramid is because with a pyramid, you have the foundation that you build on top of. And the foundation is the most important layer. So the foundation here is identity. If you're the owner operator of a business and you want to scale the business big, then at the very foundation is you, who you are, what's your purpose, what you care about, what your values are, what matters to you, what you enjoy doing. So for example, when we work with a client and we're looking to scale their business, the very first thing we do is personality tests. We want to see, what are this person's gifts? What are the strengths that we're going to build on? What are the weaknesses that we're not going to build on? How are we going to make sure that this person is in alignment with their very best, most joyful work before we start to build and start to grow it? So at the very foundation is this identity piece. The second level of the pyramid is lifestyle. Lifestyle is very closely related to identity. Who you are, in large part, determine what you want out of your life. Now, it's really important to look at lifestyle. For example, if you're a woman entrepreneur and you have kids, you might want to be home every day by 3 o'clock so you can hang out with your kids. In which case, we want to build something on top of that constraint. Okay, home by 3 p.m., taking Fridays off, not working on weekends, or traveling all the time, or never traveling. These are all lifestyle considerations that we want to work in at a very foundational level before we start building and growing and scaling a business. Another big lifestyle consideration is, how much money do you need to make to sustain your lifestyle, and how much money do you want to make in order to have the life of your dreams? So that's the second piece. Now, the third layer of this pyramid is intimately related to lifestyle, but it's It's where we start to move from the individual into the business. And this is the business model. And by the way, I have a lot of videos that you can check out up here on business models. But your business model is essentially the mechanism by which you turn your magic into money. And so your business model is closely related to your lifestyle because it determines how much time you spend in the business, what kind of work you're doing, who you're working with, who you're surrounding yourself in the business. So the business model is the way that you're gonna build on top of. It's the way that you deliver value to the market. So the business model leads to the brand, because once you understand the mechanism by which you deliver value to the market, you can start to look at the value proposition and the positioning in the market. Now, keep in mind, we don't talk about brand until we're clear about these foundational elements. See, one of the biggest problems I see is people coming to me and starting from this place of, I want to scale, I need to focus on creating a brand, or I want to make more money, so I need to look at my business model, and they ignore these two really important fundamental things. So the brand is the positioning in the market. The brand is, who do you serve? What's your target audience? What's your ideal audience? What's the value proposition to that audience? Where is that audience going to find you? So this is all based on the business. Now we start to look at marketing. Marketing is basically the ongoing dissemination of the brand in the world. The marketing is basically how you get your brand out there consistently on a regular basis. So marketing can be YouTube videos like this. Marketing can be speaking. Marketing can be blogging, right? All these different forms of marketing. Now, one of the biggest issues I see with marketing is, again, people working from the outside in and saying, oh, do you think this blogging strategy might work for me? Or I was told maybe I should try YouTube, or I think speaking would be a great way to get business. All of those things can be true. The key is, does this marketing strategy align with your identity, with your lifestyle, with the business model, with the brand? And that's where this alignment piece is so important, is checking, is this marketing strategy gonna be sustainable? Is this something that I love to do, that I will enjoy doing, that 3 years from now I'll still enjoy doing? Marketing obviously leads to sales. Sales is how we actually turn these opportunities into revenues. Sales is one of the most critical functions in scaling a business. Because when you have a small business, maybe you're doing sales by yourself. But in order to grow, chances are, unless you're doing large scale enterprise sales, you're gonna end up having to hire salespeople. And in my experience, that's a difficult area for a lot of entrepreneurs, letting go of that sales function. Now here's the beauty, because this model builds on itself. Having sales is so critical because what it does is it creates revenues and cash flow that allow us to invest in scaling operations. Scaling operations, what that means is creating standard operating procedures, automation, delegation, and all sorts of different ways to replicate and duplicate processes without having to invent them from scratch every single time. So this is a 7-step model that can always help you scale. And if you start from the bottom and work your way up with the correct order of operations, then you can grow in a way that's not only profitable, but more importantly, that's also energy rich and enjoyable. Now, one thing I invite you to do as you look at this model is identify, where are you in this pyramid? At what level? What's the lowest level at which you have questions or doubts or uncertainties? You always want to go down to that lowest level of uncertainty because that's where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. Which means that if you are looking at marketing and sales, but really your business is out of alignment with your identity, that marketing and sales is not going to be sustainable over the long haul. So I invite you to go all the way back to the basics, all the way back to the beginning, and ask yourself, am I doing the work I was put on this planet to do? Do I love doing the work I do? Am I on purpose? Am I on mission? Is this business aligned with my values? What kind of lifestyle do I want to lead? Am I working too much? Am I on an airplane all the time? Am I not seeing my kids grow up? Am I not making enough money? Like, asking yourself these deep, important questions can really help you identify where on this pyramid you need to focus your time and your attention. This resonates with you, and if it opened up a whole bunch of uh-oh or aha moments, then let's connect. You can set up time with me for free on my calendar to have a discovery call at superstaractivator.com/go, which you can find below as a link that you can click on and go ahead and book time on my calendar.